Hello, I'm Charlotte and this is Book Balance on Books and Bargains. Today I'm coming to you with my September book balance, and it is currently the 2nd of October, and yeah, this is the first time I've been able to sit down and film anything for weeks, so I'm very excited. It is stupid o'clock at night. Nana's just gone to bed, Tom is out, so I thought I would come and speak to you guys. My hair is a little bit all over the place, and I'm wearing this obnoxious cape because it's autumn and I couldn't be happier about it. So today, like I say, I'm coming to you with my book balance. Now in August, we finished on -6, and I said that I wanted to get to, I think past me, may have said -15 or -16. I am really going to try in September to get down to, let's put it out there, let's try and get to -15 in September. So that would be, if I'm on -6, that's 9 books. So I have to this month read or unhaul 9 more that I take in. And I just set myself up for a failure there, let's say that. So coming on to the TBR this month, I have first got 2 Kindle books. One is number 47 by Hannah Palmer. Now, this has been on my Kindle wish list since me and Victoria went to Oxford 2 years ago. That can't have been 2 years ago. It actually must have been. Oh, wow. Okay, so that has been there a while. I don't know why I decided to pick it up this month, but I did. And so we then go to -5. I then picked up Christmas at the Cat Cafe by Jessica Redland. Again, don't know why I decided to pick that up this month other than self-sabotage reasons. And so we're on -4. From work, I picked up myself up a copy of The Mysterious Case of the Alperton Angels by Janice Hallett. I have already read this, so it doesn't count towards the numbers, but wanted to share it with you anyway, as I bloody love this book. This book, I know that the Twyford Code has had mixed reviews, but I think even Victoria agrees with me on this one, that this is as good, if not better, than The Appeal. So in this one, we are following a mysterious case of the Alperton Angels, which was a cult where I believe that the leader was found, 3 of them were found dead in a warehouse, and there was a child and a baby that disappeared. So at the very beginning of the book, we are following an author who has got this, she's going to be involved in this like crime book series, like retelling an old case from a new angle. And we follow, I think it's this one, hang on, bear with me. Yeah, so it is this one where we have the files that her student is transcribing for her, and I think the do you say transcriber, is that the right word? Well, in this she is doing like little asides to us all the time, and I really enjoyed that. I didn't realise it was going to be such a chunky book because I read this on Kindle and flew through it, so definitely recommend this one. And then talking of Victoria, she also sent me Family Law by Elizabeth Acevedo, which I have been dying to read, as I have loved Elizabeth Acevedo's other books. I think I've read everything that's out so far. I've read The Poet X, Clap When You Land, and With the Fire on High, and I've given them all at least a 4-star. So when I saw that Elizabeth Acevedo was going to be writing a adult novel, wanted to read it, and so Victoria ever so kindly passed on her proof to me, so that takes me to -3. And then I really stung myself because there are 4 pre-orders here that I forgot I had pre-ordered. So we first have Tilly and Pages and Co, the last book Wanderer. This is the 5th book in the Pages & Co series, and I'm that far through, but I've been in a bit of a reading slump in September. You'll see in a minute that my reading was really slumpy, but yeah, I'd pre-ordered that one. And then one that the Instagram hype got me for was Every Exquisite Thing by Laura Stevens. Now, this is a sapphic Dorian Gray retelling. I haven't read The Picture of Dorian Gray, but it had beautiful sprayed edges, and I pre-ordered that because I gave into the hype. One that I pre-ordered absolute years ago was Hex and the City by Kate Johnson. I really enjoyed Hex Appeal. Funny story, actually. As I'm filming this, today I was watching Ali from This Little Wonderful Life is doing Vlogtober, which I'm really, really excited about. Something. I love her Vlogtober. She just gives off these such cozy vibes. Anyway, in that she mentioned that she was listening to Hex Appeal. Now, I had my laptop there, I had my phone there, and as she said the words Hex Appeal, a text pinged up on my phone from Aoife from Pretty Purple Polka Dots, and it said, "Was it you that told me to read Hex Appeal?" So I was just like, do 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 do. Very spooky. But yes, this is the sequel. I have also got this on audiobook and I will be reading it. I am going on holiday next week to Spain, so I'm trying to put off my spooky reads until I get back. So yeah, hopefully that'll be one I pick up soon. And then I also pre-ordered The Golden Spoon by Jessa Maxwell, because this was sold to me as the Great British Bake Off meets And Then There Were None, and that just got me. So where does that leave us? I think that we are now on +1. And then 2 books that I was very kindly sent by publishers this month. I was sent Dune McKicken, My Lady Parts, which is all about the parts that she's played as an actress. So they reached out to me and said that with my kind of theatre background, would I like this? And I was like, yes, please. And it's like the wild child, the clown, the angry young feminist, the stupid tart, the feed, the nice mum, the desperate prostitute, the rule-breaking rebel, the trailblazer, the selkie, the hot lesbian, the deranged mother, the prima donna, the German air hostess, the alcoholic single actress, the desperate cougar, the ball-breaking dominatrix, the hard-bitten detective, the complicit PA, the disruptor, the sexy old woman, and the hag. Now, I've not heard of this comedian, but Tom did come in the other night and was like, oh, I've seen her on telly, she's quite funny. So that's good. But yeah, I'm looking forward to starting reading this soon. I did pick this up and start reading it, and then I was like, no, I've got too many other books on the go. That needs to go back onto the TBR for now. And then also one that I did request is 3 Holidays and a Wedding by Uzma Jalaluddin and Marissa Stapley. And this is going to be one of my Christmas reads this year. I have decided that in our household, Christmas will start 6 weeks before Christmas. So from the 13th of November, all bets are off. But I am this year trying not to read any Christmas books before November, even though I did already read 2 in August, but we'll just skip over that. So I make that as +3. Oh, however though, I think I've counted Alperton Angels. Have I? I was on -6.
2 Kindle ones is -4. -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so we should be on plus. Again. -6. -5, -4, -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. Yeah, I have. Okay, so we're on +2. So my TBR, since the start of this project, has now grown by 2.
I think I forgot to say at the beginning of this video that this video is highly inspired by Emma from Drinking by My Shelf. She no longer makes YouTube videos. Or did I see one pop up the other day? I don't know. I don't think she does. Anyway, she does still post over on the Book Break channel, which I'll leave both of them below. And it is also highly spurred on by Olivia from Olivia's Catastrophe and Hannah from Ladder M, who are both doing this TBR challenge where they're going up against each other, and I was going to join in with that, but yeah, I've fallen way behind. So anyway, let's go on to the books that are going off my TBR this month. So the first of those is The Golden Spoon by Jessa Maxwell. I read it. I was disappointed by this one. So let me just say that it says on the front, The Great British Bake Off meets And Then There Were None. I loved it. Now, The Great British Bake Off, yes, there were some wonderful food descriptions. But from the off, this was set in America, which I didn't think worked. I thought, you know, when you say that it's Great British Bake Off inspired, I expect it to be British. That said, that was just a small sticking point for me. We got about 80% into this before someone was murdered, and while I do think that can work, the idea of it being like And Then There Were None makes me think, you know, that the murder, cause I knew there was going to be a storm. Did it say that on the back, or was it just, yeah, it says they've heard strange noises in the manor at night. So it kind of lent itself to something more creepy than it was. And the murder kind of happened. And then there was this kind of, I don't know if it was just the pacing, but it was almost finished. Now, if the murder had have happened sooner and we could have had more of the kind of revelations, I think I would have enjoyed it more. And at the same time, there was too much going on. There were too many little side stories. And yeah, I didn't hate it. The first kind of 50% I flew through and I didn't want to put it down. But yeah, I was just kind of, oh, I don't know if you heard that. That was my stomach. I was just kind of waiting for this murder that took forever to come. And I don't know. It didn't work for me. I would still give it a 3-star. I think if it hadn't have been a debut author, I would have given it a 2.5. But the fact that it gripped me so much at first, and there were such good food descriptions, and I really did like all the characters, but I almost think that a few of them were quite stereotypical without them being kind of medicalized as having any kind of disorders. Yeah, they just seem very stereotypical. So I read it, and that one will be leaving my collection. By contrast, I then read Louise Doty's Apple Tree Yard, and this was fantastic. I didn't read the blurb of this one. If there is an author that I've loved a book from before, and I loved Platform 7 by Louise Doty, then I don't tend to read the blurbs. I just collect their books. And I'm glad on this one. I still haven't read the blurb. I don't know what it says, but I would say that this has content warnings for sexual assault and yeah, that's the big content warning in this one. And this was very reminiscent. It was very political, very reminiscent of Sarah Vaughan's work, so Reputation and Anatomy of a Scandal, which again I both bloody loved. And yeah, I gave this one 4 stars. I can't remember why I gave it 4 stars and not 5. I think that it lost me a little bit at some points, but again, this was one that I didn't want to put down, and I would definitely recommend this. I'm putting this on Tom's shelf for him to read because he enjoyed Louise Doty's work as well. So that takes us back to 0. So I'm still happy. I then read The Promise by Lucy Diamond, and I mostly listened to this on audiobook via BorrowBox from my library. Now, this, I also had a NetGalley ARC, so I went through a stage a few years ago of requesting loads of NetGalley ARCs, and then I fell out of love with reading on my Kindle for a while, so I have been keeping an eye out in charity shops for any of the books that are on that list cheaply, and this is where I got this one. Now, I hadn't read a Lucy Diamond before. I will definitely read more. There were some diet culture references in this one, so that lost it definitely a point in my book. And actually, I didn't always agree with some of the things that the characters said and did, but I almost felt like Lucy Diamond pulled them up on it later in the book. And I didn't like the ending of this one. I think, again, it was a little bit rushed. However, in this book, we are following our main character. It's not Dan. Is it Dan? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is Dan. And I don't normally like books with male protagonists, but I really enjoyed this one. So when Dan's brother Patrick dies, we know that something about it doesn't add up, and that both him and his late wife Zoe are really struggling. And Dan decides to step up for his niece and nephews. And I don't really want to tell you much more about that, other than there is a secret in this. There is a romance that probably didn't need to be there. But this was just such a lovely exploration of grief. It was really hard hitting at points. It did make me tear up a little bit on the bus. But I really like the characters in this one, and I find myself wondering what they're up to now that I've finished, which is always, always a sign of a good book. And yeah, I just think when the I don't even know what you call that, the quote on the front, when things fall apart, love can hold us together, is just, it fits so well. This, I'm actually going like against myself here, because this was 464 pages and I still enjoyed it. I may have said recently in a video that books have no purpose being over about 400 pages, but yeah, really enjoyed this, and I really enjoyed listening to it. I was just going to try and find you, there was a quote that I highlighted, and I bet I won't be able to find it. Right, okay, so it was this. Where is it? It said his previously stagnant life had become immeasurably richer through filling it with new people and activities over the last few months, and he wanted to keep it that way once he returned to the office. You could hold down any kind of job if the rest of your life was full and interesting, he hoped. And I really took away from that, because I have been putting a lot of pressure on myself recently to think about and ultimately decide what career I want for the rest of my life. And it's just that thought of kind of putting career on the back burner and realising that with my chronic health conditions, maybe a job and some passion projects are gonna work better for me. But yeah, this video is not the time or the place for that. I also read Body Positive Power by Megan Jane Crabb, but unfortunately this one doesn't count, as this was a reread. I just needed it at the moment. Megan is just a ray of sunshine. When I met her, she is one of the nicest influencers that I have met in real life. She is every bit as bubbly and friendly as she appears on the internet. And this book, while I don't think there's anything groundbreaking in this one, I think this was kind of like 101 intro to body positivity for me. And it was just soothing during a time when I haven't been connecting with my body as much, and I have been hating on it a little bit. I then read The Checkout Girl by Tazeen Ahmed. This was recommended to me when I told you guys that I had got a checkout job, and I really enjoyed this. I didn't always agree with the author. The author was quite judgmental to a lot of people that came to her store, and I didn't appreciate that. However, the one thing that did upset me, this book is 2008, I think, so what, 15 years old, and a lot of the problems that she was seeing then are still the same 15 years on, in the economy and the nature of how we are treated as checkout girls. But would definitely recommend this to anyone that works in a checkout job. It did make me chuckle at points, and it just made me kind of be like, yeah, I get that. This one won't be staying in my collection. I don't think. I will pass this on. I then read Fiona Cummins When I Was 10, and this was sent to me by Victoria, so thank you, Victoria. This was haunting and disturbing, but I loved it. Fiona Cummins has this way of, when I'm reading her books, I don't think they're anything groundbreaking, but I really enjoy them and I get really hooked on them, and I stay up far too late reading them when I should be in bed. So that one I gave a 4 or 4.5 star to, I think. And again, that will be leaving my collection because I'm trying not to hold on to books that I don't intend to reread in the near future. I did the other day unhaul some of my Claire Mackintosh books. So I unhauled Hostage and The Last Party. They don't count because I unhauled them red, so they make no difference on my TBR. I just thought I'd share them. And then last but not least, which I think will take us down to -4, which means I'm up 2 from last month. So yeah, it is what it is. So I DNF'd Truly Madly Guilty by Leanne Moriarty. I was only a couple of chapters in, but I just wasn't loving it. And after absolutely adoring Big Little Lies, I didn't love this, and I didn't love 9 Perfect Strangers. I forced myself to read that whole thing and didn't enjoy it. So yeah, I have decided that Leanne Moriarty is not for me. And so I am also unhauling The Hypnotist Love Story unread from my TBR. So that is this month's book balance. While it is up from last month, we are still under 0. So my TBR has not grown. And it's early days. I started this, is this the 3rd episode? I think this might be the 3rd episode. So I'm going to keep going and we're going to keep seeing how we're getting on. I think I started it in July. So yeah, it will finish at the end of June. And hopefully by then, I'd love to be at like at least -50, but not holding up much hope. I don't know when you'll see my face again. I don't know what's going on with my upload schedule. So please just bear with me while things are a bit chaotic. And until next time, look after yourselves. Bye.